All right. Hello, everyone. I wanted to provide this instruction for APA formatting. Once you read through this, there will then be an assignment for you to practice and be tested on your APA formatting. So please listen to this and please reference APA formatting to understand it best. But APA is the American Psychological Association, and they have a formatting manual or a publication manual, and it's in its 7th edition. You don't have to buy this. Might be helpful too. There's references online. If you Google APA formatting, it can provide you with information as to how to do that. But they are on their 7th edition, and as far as I know, this 7th edition just came out in 2020. So if you're familiar with APA formatting, and you probably used the 6th edition, but we are on the 7th edition, and there are changes to the edition that you will see in your papers as you write them, as you should write them. So maybe what I want to do here is I want to open up the syllabus for this class, and I want to remind you, I'll share it here. I want to remind you that in all of the assignments that I'm asking you, I haven't changed the syllabus yet, but in all the assignments, I have linked owl.purdue.edu, and all the assignments that I'm requiring you to strictly use APA formatting have that link. So I encourage you to go to that link when you're sitting down to do the paper and review some of the APA formatting. For now, I am going to open up that site and share it with you and go over some things on the site. So here on the website, there's some, you can see here on the left, there'll be different topics you can look at. So reference list, how do I do that with articles and periodicals? You click there, or in-text citations, authors when it comes to in-text citations. I also want to point out that there is a way to do a professional paper and a way to do a student paper. So all I'm asking for you to do is to do the student paper style. So as we can review through here, make this bigger and make sure that I'm sharing that screen with you. As you'll see, you used to have headers, no headers. We want a page number at the top right though of your first page, the name of the paper, your name, the counseling program at Western New Mexico University, the class, Counseling 501, ethics, my name, and then the date. So that'll be your first page. No abstract. Please do not include an abstract. I don't want to see an abstract. We don't, student papers don't need abstracts. Then you'll go into your paper and you'll start writing your paper. Headings or headers are, or headings, sorry, basically the same thing. But you'll put that here at the top, and it will be bolded and it will be centered. That's your first style headers. I don't know if anyone will need a second phase header, so just know that your first headers are centered and bold. In paragraphs, paragraph forms, as you can see here, here's the first level header, and here's a second level header. The second level header is to the left and bolded still. And then a third is left, italicized, and bolded. But again, I think you'll probably just be using the first level of headers. Let's review here. Again, pages at the top right. And then we'll get to, I don't imagine you needing any figures or any tables. Then we'll get to the references page. So references page is the header of that is, the heading of that is references and bolded and centered. References, because there's multiple references. And then you have your references in alphabetical order, and then the first line of the first reference is not indented, but the rest of that is indented. So I want to go through now references and how to write them, as well as how to cite them in your paper. So we'll take a look at a reference, and then I'll help you figure out how to write it. So maybe first we'll go to the library website. So I'll stop sharing. So just give me a moment to open up the library's site, and I'll share that with you. So here's the library site. If you're looking for articles, you just click on this search bar and you type in, we'll type in counseling, and you search. So, and with any of the papers that you're writing, if it requires a reference page, if it requires you to cite a certain amount of references, and if it asks for peer-reviewed references, you just go to this checkbox near peer-reviewed journals, and you click, and then you go apply filter, and you should get peer-reviewed journals. So I will click on this one. Hopefully it's still showing. Click there to open up. You might not have to go into all of it and open it up. You might not have to open it up as a PDF, but it might be helpful to do that as well. So the way you reference, let's take a look here. So for this paper, the way you will reference, and I just want to make sure you're seeing, yeah, you're seeing that, is the last name first, and then, well, I'm going to pull up this. How can I do this? I know what I need to do. One moment. Okay, I went in and looked for a journal and then did the reference myself. So I want to share this. So we have this article here on teaching counseling, getting beyond informational counseling. So with this, I'm giving you an example now of how to, so we found the article here. You can click here, and it gives you some information here, which is helpful, and which you may be able to use in using your reference. So, excuse me, I'm going to pull up the reference now too. Share. So here's the reference. We have the author's name first, their last name first, with a comma, and then their initial, and then period. If there's multiple authors, then you do a comma, you do their last name, and then a comma, and then their initials, and then if there's multiple between, just before the last one, you want to put the end sign there. There's just one, or the last one, it ends with a period, then you put the year, then it's the year in parentheses and a period, and then the title of the article. And the title is what's called sentence casing. Sentence sentence casing, I realize I don't have my face here. Sentence casing means you include the title of the article as if it were a sentence. So only the first letter of the first word is capitalized within the reference. So that would be on is capitalized, teaching's not. Also, what's the word? Anything that would be capitalized in a sentence should be capitalized in the reference. So there's a colon here. So right after the colon, we know that you capitalize the first word as well. So as you can see, on and getting are the only words capitalized of the article's title. Then you put a period. Then then you include the title of the journal with title casing, which is each word that's more than 3 letters is with an uppercase. And it's italicized, and then is that italicized? That does not look italicized. Oh, okay, there, it's italicized. Then you put a comma after the title of the journal, but that comma is not italicized. Then the journal's issue or volume number is italicized, but the issue number is in parentheses, and that's not italicized. And then the comma after that, and then the rest of it's not italicized. So it's kind of funky. You have the journal title, which is italicized, a comma that's not, and then the volume number that is, and then everything else isn't italicized. And then page numbers, you don't put P or you don't put PP. You just put the page numbers. And actually, this isn't supposed to be a hyphen. It's supposed to be not that one. That's too big. The smaller one. So that one, the smaller one. So the way you do that. So again, it's not supposed to be a dash. It's supposed to be a specific hyphen. So I'm trying to get back to what the 908. Okay, it was 908. So what you do, sorry, it was 908. So you do that, 908, and then, but then you delete those spaces. Kind of tedious. I forgot. But that's what you do there to be technically right. And then a period at the end, and then you include the DOI or the URL. And usually each article nowadays has a number assigned to it, and the number is starting with this 10 and goes out to here. But the DOI format is HTTPS, as you can see there, ://doi.org/ and then you include the number. So I'm going to go back to the paper. Let's see if we can see the where did I get that DOI? I'm not sure. Sometimes you might have to go into the actual paper or find things in different aspects. So the issue number's 2 here, and I found that here in this part, but if you go into the actual paper, it's hard to find. It doesn't show the issue number, it just shows the volume number. But here's where I found the DOI number, doi.org, and then you include that very last of the reference with no period at the end. So with this too, the reference page and your papers are all double spaced too. So in order to get your paper to be double spaced, you can either Control A, or you can highlight the whole paper and go up here to, you'll want to be in the Home tab, and as you're in the great. Hold on, I realized I wasn't sharing the paper. So yeah, no period here at the end. But what you want to do is you'll want to go to the Home page or the Home tab, and go and you see where it says paragraph here, you'll click on this, and then you'll want to make sure that before and after spacing are at 0 and that line spacing is at double space, and you press OK. So now we have double space. And this part, the first line's not indented, as I said, but the rest of the reference is. So what you'll do is you'll click on that second part and you'll hit tab. And if sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. If that doesn't work, you'll go back up to the top line and you'll press backspace. And what you can do is you can click your cursor here and go here into this little arrow and drag the arrow over to the half in between. You see how that line's a little bit longer than the rest of them? So you'll drag it over to there. And you want to make sure you click on the arrow to drag it over, because if, as you just saw, I clicked on the box, there's that little box right there too. You want to make sure you click on the arrow to drag it, because if you click on the box, you drag all of it. You don't want to drag all of it. You want to just drag the arrow. And that will get you into the references, or the tab for the references. So citing this. Citing, if you were to cite this paper, if you were to cite this reference, then it would be Luterman, comma, 2020. Now with APA formatting, this is the new thing. Sometimes references have multiple names in them, multiple authors. The new APA format, or the old one, was you would include all of them up to a certain amount for the first time you reference it, and then the rest of it you would put ETL. Well, now the new APA style is that even the first time, what you'll do is you don't include all of the names, you just include the first name, space ET, space AL, period, comma. And if it's a direct quote, you'll want to add a comma, P for page, period, space, and the page number that you found that quote on. If the quote comes from multiple pages, not that many, but it comes from page 66, 67, 68, you'll do PP and put the page numbers that it's in between that way. Okay, so that is how to do your referencing. So also it's important to note, if you're going to reference, or if you're going to cite something, if it's in the same paragraph and if you're citing the same thing in the same paragraph, you don't have to include, you include the year the first time, but you don't have to include the year the second time if it's in the same paragraph. And also, if it's in the same paragraph, you might not even have to include the citation again if the following sentences indicate back to show that you're talking about that same reference. So if Luterman was an actual was a study, and we cited Luterman said such and such and found such and such, put a period, and we started the sentence and said he also, or we went with the study also found, you wouldn't have to include the citation in that for that sentence as well, because it's very clear that you're still talking about the same reference. If it's not clear though, and you're not using your words in a clear way to show that you're still talking about the same reference, then you're going to want to put that citation. But sometimes it's easiest to just make it clear and not have to cite it again. Let's see. So also it's important to note that paraphrasing is not just changing a few words. Paraphrasing, if you're going to paraphrase, you want to make sure basically that you're changing every word. unless it's like a proper noun or something other than that. You want to put it in your own words. If it's words that are from the article that you got, try and Google synonym for the word and try and change the word around in a different way, because you don't if you don't have quotation marks around it, then it's your own words, but it's your own words based on knowledge and information that you've gained from a specific site or a specific reference. So please make sure that you're not plagiarizing. That if you're saying if there's no quotation marks, it's saying that you're paraphrasing it, and you're paraphrasing information you got from that reference or that article in your own words. So these are your own words. So you either need to make sure it's in quotes, or you need to make sure that it's in a block quote. So block quotes are important to know too. If you're providing a quote that's longer than 40 words, and let me you'll have to double check this as well, because I'm not going to take another time, but it's either 40, I'm pretty sure it's 40 words or more. So if you highlight, as you can see, if I highlight this reference, it will tell me how many words it is. It's 24 words. But let's say the reference is actually, it's double that. So it's let's say this is my quotation mark, or not my quotation mark, my quote. But if it is, I need to set it up in a block format. So a block format is you're indenting it in the paragraph. You're indenting the whole quote. So the whole quote is indented. It comes in at that half mark there. And what you do is you then include the citation, Luderman 2020. But instead of with paraphrasing, and even with direct quotes, you'll put the period at the end of the citation. But if it's a block quote, you put the period at the end of the text's direct words. So a block quote, period goes after the words. Quotation or quotes and paraphrases, your period will go at the end of the citation. So if I'm paraphrasing Luderman, I'm saying Luderman found that, well, I didn't. Luderman 2020 found that counselors are more effective when they practice personal mindfulness. If that's my paraphrase from what Luderman found, then I would put a period. And actually, I just wrote it in the form. But if I said, if this was a follow-up and I said he found, and the citation would be at the end, then I would put Luderman 2020 with a period at the end of the citation, as you see there, instead of here. So block quotes, it's right here. Paraphrases and quotes under 40, it's at the end of the citation. So, and I forgot here, if it's a block quote too, you'll want to put the page number. So page 78, like that. So make sure you're doing block quotes if it's 40 words or more. And especially make sure if it's not your own words, you need to make sure that I know that you're not trying to paraphrase, or that it's not your own words by putting a block quote or putting it in quotation marks. So let me take a moment to think really quickly to see what other areas I wanted to cover. Okay, I've decided that that's all I'm going to share with you for today. What I'd like you now to do, there'll be an assignment for you to show if you're able to retain this. This is you're not just going to rely on this video. This video was to help you understand it, but now it's also your responsibility to either examine this book or go to that website or other websites, Google APA formatting, and figure out how to do this for a specific reference. So you'll go into Canvas. I will have a specific assignment there for you to do, and just follow that format, and it will be regarding APA formatting. So it shouldn't take, I mean, actual writing it up and doing the assignment won't take very long, but maybe researching and making sure you got it the way APA formatting 7th edition, maybe looking at that might take a little bit longer, but I don't anticipate this taking longer than half an hour, maybe even not even longer than 10 minutes for you to do this assignment. But yes, hopefully maybe go back, review this video, or go into APA formatting and to review that, and then I'd like you to do that assignment that you'll find that's linked in the module for testing your APA formatting skills. Okay, thank you, and I will see y'all later.